Welcome to the most glamorous traffic jam in motorsport. That's right, we're heading to Monaco, where billionaires' yachts get more overtakes than the actual race. After the absolute thriller we got at Imola, where Max Verstappen reminded everyone why he's a four-time champ, by pulling victory from the jaws of defeat against McLaren, we're now heading to a track where passing is so difficult, drivers would have better luck getting a reservation at a Michelin-starred restaurant on race day. This is the crown jewel of motorsport, the race every driver dreams of winning. Monaco joins the 24 Hours of Le Mans and the Indy 500 in motorsport's holy trinity. Though let's be honest, Monaco is the only one where you can crash into a barrier and still be within walking distance of a five-star hotel. McLaren arrives with arguably the fastest car on the grid, fresh off their Imola heartbreak where they learned that having the quickest machine doesn't guarantee victory when Max Verstappen is involved. Ferrari comes to their spiritual home with Charles Leclerc, desperate to repeat last year's emotional victory, though we all remember how many times he had to crash in qualifying before finally getting that Monaco win. But let's not forget, this is Monaco, where Max has made the impossible look routine more times than we can count. Will McLaren's speed translate to Monaco's unique challenges? Can Leclerc make it back-to-back home wins? Or will Verstappen do what Verstappen does? Find a way to win even when he shouldn't? Let's break down what could be the most unpredictable Monaco GP in years. Welcome to Monaco, the only race where the pit crew works harder than the drivers. This year, the organizers finally admitted what we've all known for decades. Overtaking here is about as likely as finding a cheap apartment in Monte Carlo. So, they've made the Monaco GP a mandatory two-stop race because if we can't get wheel-to-wheel action, we'll at least get some strategic chaos in the pits. Let's set the scene. This 3.337k ribbon of asphalt hasn't changed much since 1929, back when cars were narrow enough to actually pass each other. Today's F1 barges, they make the Titanic look nimble. The track's so tight that drivers can literally high-five spectators, not recommended. Sector 1 starts with that brutal uphill climb to Casino Square. Sector 2 features Monaco's iconic party trick, the slowest corner in F1, at the famous Fairmont hairpin. Cars take this turn so slowly, you could get out and push yours faster. Then comes the tunnel, the only place drivers can actually stretch their legs before the massive braking zone at the chicane. One of exactly two passing spots if you're feeling suicidal. Sector 3 is where careers go to die. A technical labyrinth where every corner is another chance to redecorate the walls. With the new mandatory two-stop rule, teams will be gambling on strategy like high rollers at the casino. Soft tires that degrade faster than a Ferrari's championship hopes? Double stacking disasters waiting to happen? Monaco just went from procession to potential pit lane pandemonium. This is Monaco, where qualifying is the real race. The walls are always hungry, and now the pit wall might actually be the most exciting place to watch. Alright, let's talk about the potential Cinderella stories of Monaco, because this race loves serving up surprises, like a blackjack dealer at the Casino Square. My money's on Williams to shock us all. Yes, you heard that right. The same Williams team that was basically a mobile chicane last season is now out here throwing punches with Ferrari and Mercedes like they've been possessed by the spirit of Frank Williams himself. Just look at their Imola performance. Alex Albon dragged that FW47 to P5 like it was a Red Bull in disguise. And suddenly we're seeing blue cars where they shouldn't be. In the points, in the fight, and most shockingly, in the mirrors of championship contending teams. Two things James Vowles has been cooking into this car like a secret recipe. Could we see a Williams on the podium? Don't count it out, especially when Albon's driving like a man who spotted free real estate in those precious points positions. But wait, the other big surprise, Max Verstappen doing Max Verstappen things. After that Imola masterclass where he won, now he's coming to Monaco, a track where he's been basically untouchable since he could legally drink champagne. Strap in, folks, because we're about to expose the team most likely to faceplant into Monaco's harbour this weekend. All signs point to McLaren being primed for a spectacular implosion at the worst possible moment. That's right, the same Papaya rocket ship that's been dominating speed traps could become Monaco's biggest joke. And here's why. This track brutally exposes one glaring McLaren weakness. Their drivers turn into qualifying ghosts when it matters most. Lando Norris might have generational race pace, but put him in Q3, and suddenly he drives like someone replaced his steering wheel with a baguette. Monaco punishes Saturday sinners, and if Lando starts P6 again in the fastest car, he'll be stuck there all Sunday, waving at yachts. Then there's Oscar Piastri. But wait, we can't ignore Ferrari in this flop conversation. Their qualifying pace has been softer than month-old gelato, and Monaco is basically 78 laps of qualifying. Even Charles Leclerc's hometown magic can't fix their fundamental lack of one-lap speed. And let's be real, if by some miracle they qualify well, the strategy team will still find a way to turn P2 into P7 before the first pit stops. Ladies and gentlemen, start your conspiracy theories, because we're about to crown the King of Monaco qualifying before it even happens. All signs point to Max Verstappen doing what Max Verstappen does best, turning an unstable Red Bull into a pole position missile when it matters most. Remember Imola? Yet Max still finished 6 seconds clear of the fastest McLaren, unless a seagull kamikazes into his cockpit or the FIA suddenly bans energy drinks. This is Max pole to lose. But here's where it gets spicy. Oscar Piastri might just pull another Monaco miracle. Last year he nearly stole pole from Leclerc as a rookie, and this time he's got a car that doesn't just compete, it dominates. The quiet Australian thrives under Monaco's pressure cooker conditions. The battle for third? That's where the real drama lives. Charles Leclerc has home turf advantage and that voodoo magic that makes his Ferrari 0.5s faster here than anywhere else. But George Russell has been quietly turning Mercedes into a qualifying beast. His last 3 Saturday performances have been sharper than a Monaco cocktail umbrella. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Lando Norris might have the fastest race car, but Monaco doesn't care. His qualifying performances this year have been more inconsistent than Ferrari's strategy calls, unless he suddenly channels his inner Senna. The qualifying version, he'll be starting behind his teammate yet again. Let's be brutally honest, predicting the Monaco podium is about as challenging as parallel parking a shopping cart. We all know the golden rule here. Qualifying is the real race, and Sunday is just a 78-lap victory parade where the only overtakes happen when someone bins it into the barriers. So unless the leading car spontaneously combusts, we're looking at a finish line that'll mirror the starting grid like a bad copy-paste job. Now, the only wildcard? Pit stops. This year's mandatory 2-stop rule means teams can't just coast on a 1-stopper and pray. One slow stop, one botched release, and suddenly that guaranteed podium becomes a nightmare. Imagine, Max's tyres aren't ready, Oscar undercuts him, and chaos ensues. It's unlikely, but this is F1, where the impossible happens just to mess with us. And let's not forget the championship implications. Max closing in on Oscar, Lando potentially losing ground, and Ferrari, well, being Ferrari. Now let's talk about the wildcards who could turn this Monaco GP from a predictable snooze fest into absolute chaos. Starting with Ferrari, the most beautifully inconsistent team in F1 history. Yes, their car handles like a shopping cart on cobblestones most weekends, but this is Charles Leclerc's backyard, the man who turned Monaco pole positions into an art form before finally winning last year. Ferrari might be allergic to braking zones everywhere else, but Monaco only has one heavy braking area, meaning their twitchy SF25 could suddenly become a qualifying rocket. And let's not forget Lewis Hamilton's first Monaco GP in red. If there's one driver who can overperform in mediocre machinery here, it's the guy with more Monaco wins than some teams have podiums. But the real dark horse? Fernando Alonso. Remember 2023? When everyone else was crashing into barriers like drunk tourists? Fernando was out there doing ballet in an Aston Martin to steal P2. This year's car might be slower than last year's, but never underestimate a man who's won here twice. Expect Alonso to materialize in Q3 like a ghost from F1's golden era. So there you have it. Max might be the favorite, but Monaco loves an underdog story. Whether it's Charles channeling hometown magic, Lewis proving why Ferrari hired him, or Fernando turning back the clock yet again, this race could surprise us all. Or it could be a 78-lap procession where nothing happens. May your overtakes be bold and your pit stops under 2 seconds.